So today I'm gonna read a P-log called 100% Ashamedness Required. Ah, there is a simple way to get out of hell here and beyond. Be 100% fully, unadulteratedly ashamed in front of divine, of one's own actions which kept one in hell. Simple, but still not many here are doing it. When the judgment comes, find the world in shame. Absolutely, my goodness. God, he just makes the most profound points. Like, it really makes so much sense because, like, beings wouldn't really, do anything if they didn't feel ashamed in front of divine or in front of P, because it's almost like if you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people that are exactly like you, and they don't have any they're just going about their ways and not wanting to change and not having a being that is like at a higher level than them, then they would just look at each other and not feel ashamed whatsoever. But any being, it could be like any being, like when they come in front of P, like it's like an automatic thing where you feel ashamed because you can obviously see like that P is like this higher level being. Like he's just like full of practicality, full of logic and sense, and the way that he carries himself is very graceful, very pleasant, and he's really very, very centered. Like if you're around P, you can see like he's always centered. His mind is always like under control. His actions are always under his control, and he doesn't get swayed by like the media. He doesn't get swayed by anything. Like he has his own, he has his body under control, and like beings don't have that. Like beings would just get swayed and get affected really quickly by things. And actually, if you think about it, if beings didn't have like P as a reference point, like they wouldn't even strive to evolve themselves or even become better, or strive every day to better themselves. And like if you don't have that, like if you don't feel 100% like ashamed when coming in front of divine, then like you definitely know that you're not gonna move anywhere, because like people would see it as like a bad thing. Like if they come in front of P, then they'll feel like jealousy and all those kinds of emotions that actually stop them from actually moving towards P instead of moving away from P. And it's really like a blessing that we can actually feel that level, like 100% ashamed, because yeah, like how one said, like you wouldn't, if you didn't have P as like a reference point, that you wouldn't even feel like you needed to change, or you wouldn't have anything to feel ashamed about. But like when you come in front of P, then you just like, it's like an automatic thing where you just come towards him, you lower your head, and you're just like very, very in like high respect for him, because like you can see, even like you don't even have to meet him personally, but you can just pay attention from afar, and you can just see like even like a small, like a cursory look, you can see like he's like this very high level being that that like automatically you want to respect and you want to learn from. And yeah, like it's crazy that when beings feel ashamed, some beings would either move towards P, or some beings would actually just go and hide, and and just you um feel depressed, and they'll feel like they'll feel ashamed, but they wouldn't really do something about it. They'll just feel ashamed and then feel sorry for themselves, and go the complete opposite direction, which doesn't make any sense because you're just going more deeper into hells, and it's much easier just to put the ego aside and learn from P, and learn not how not to feel ashamed anymore, or no, like more so like learn just to evolve oneself. And because like how P said, like the only reason for a being's existence here is to evolve, and that's all a being has to do is evolve, and we don't have to do anything else but that. And yeah, like how P says, it's simple, but still not many here are doing it. It is a simple thing. Yeah, it's like a simple thing to like just feel ashamed. You can feel ashamed in front of divine, which is like a natural thing because divine is like the highest of the highest, level of consciousness, and it's a natural thing to feel ashamed because you're not at that level, and beings are at different kinds of levels, and it's a lot of things to be ashamed of. Like if any being says, well, I don't feel anything, I'm not ashamed of anything, then they're really just lying to themselves, because just by the way that they sit, like if they're sitting like with hunchback or anything like that, that's in itself is something to be ashamed of, because back then, like how it was a natural thing to be able to sit in a proper posture, and now beings can't even do that. So that's like really something to be ashamed of, and that's like something like beings would consider as small. Like you can't even sit in a proper position without complaining that your back hurts, or this aches or that aches. And yeah, like when P said in this last line, when the judgment comes, find the world in shame. And that's really true, because like if beings don't take the time out to put their attention on P and see that he's at a higher level than them, and actually just put the ego aside and decide to learn, then they would be like the rest of the beings that just decided to run away, and when the judgment falls upon them, then like they're just showered with their own shame. And one definitely doesn't want to feel that feeling. One wants to be able to put one's attention on P all the time, and like one sees shame as like a positive thing, because the more one feels ashamed, the more one wants to you know work towards evolving oneself. And P really encourages one to actually do that just by him being himself. So yeah.